Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's talk about anger issues. Some of us have anger issues, some of us don't. A lot of times when you have anger issues, it means that you have unresolved trauma. You have an open wound somewhere that still needs to be healed. I must have some open wounds. This is kind of what triggers are about. When you have a trigger, something that triggers you. Anger is a big trigger for people with PTSD. When you have an anger trigger, it's usually because that you were hurt somewhere. Think of that wounded animal. Oftentimes a wounded animal may be in pain, but they'll lash out in aggression as a protection. You can be triggered into that mode, even if there's no real direct threat. People who have PTSD and anger triggers can become angry. You don't understand. They can just become angry for periods of time. And it's like a switch. It's an electrical circuit that is now firing along that anger pathway. And it's just firing, sending signals all the time. You may get angry, regular people who don't have anger issues or PTSD or those types of triggers, you may have fleeting little bits of anger. Some people are afraid of their own anger and they squash it down. They have a hard time becoming angry. I was talking to a psychiatrist many years ago about my anger issues, and he encouraged me, look, don't get rid of your anger. Control it. Don't get rid of it. It's an incredible power to be able to use your aggression, to be aggressive, and to have an emotion of dominance, because that's almost what anger turns into. Anger is opposite of fear. Whereas fear could be submission, anger can be dominance. When you stand up and you're like, no way, and you back a motherfucker into the corner with your flared nostrils and your pushed out chest, that's a level of dominance. That's angry. Don't make me angry. We got that incredible Hulk inside of us. Well, I'd be this mild-mannered, cool motherfucker, but you push me, watch out, because I got a killer in there waiting to come out. I'll rip you apart. It's good to be able to have that monster within. The monster has anger. Monsters get angry. That's an aspect of being a monster. But it's your job to control it. Jung talks about this, Carl Jung, Freud talks about this, the classical psychology, Jordan Peterson is popular talking about this nowadays, with this aspect of the shadow self, that monster within. People with anger issues have a hard time controlling that monster. One of the ways that you control the monster is to get to know it. You know how you can control lions is by getting to know them, becoming friends with them, becoming one of them. I mean, in some ways you have to let that monster overtake you. But not so much to where you drowned in those waters and die, but so you really know it. And so that monster trusts you as one of them. And with any kind of social positioning, you become the trainer. You can take a wolf, start feeding it snacks, and next thing you know, that wolf just turns into your pet. It still might be a wolf to other people, but to you, it's just a pet. When it comes around you, it's submissive. It's friendly. And you know that it's a dangerous animal that could flip out on you at any time, but as long as you maintain this relationship, everything's cool. And you want to maintain a relationship with that inner monster. This is how you control your anger. It can't be controlled completely. Don't don't ever think that you're going to just turn into one of these weirdos who never gets angry. People like that are not to be trusted. But I've had problems with this issue, where I've let my anger consume me, ruin my life. A moment of anger could put you in prison for the rest of your life. I've been kind of pissed off for the last couple days. I don't know if normal people understand how that works. You might just get pissed off because someone cut you off at a light and then you snap out of it. People with PTSD, we can be pissed off for extended periods of time because of that electrical pathway is just firing along that circuit. When this happens to me, I'm so familiar with this experience because it's been happening to me for most of my adult life, being triggered like this. But now I can control it. And part of controlling it is management, trigger management, self-care. Managing PTSD has a lot to do with self-care and to be in tune with your emotions. So now I try to have a constant radar that detects emotional changes within me. And when I notice an emotional change within me, a disturbance in the force, so to speak, I go at it head on with love and understanding. I don't try to squash it like a parent who tries to correct a bad child's behavior. I'm not trying to yell at it or to stop it. I'm just walking with it, trying to understand it, befriending it. And the first thing I do when I notice that I'm angry, because sometimes you don't notice, you may just be angry. This happens to people with PTSD and that triggers, you could just be walking around pissed off as a motherfucker. It may take somebody else, it may take your wife to be like, hey, what's up with you? And then if you're smart enough, you can be conscientious and humble and realize, oh, okay, I guess I am acting a little weird, maybe I am agitated. And what you do is dive in. Go head on towards the weakness. Where is it? I get out my metal detector. I'm trying to find exactly what point is injured. It may mean a dialogue within yourself and ask yourself some questions, like an investigator. What's going on with you? Where did this start? Let's backtrack. When was the last time you remembered feeling happy? Where you were thinking, oh, I'm having such a great day. I'm laughing. And was it earlier today? Was it yesterday? Was it on Tuesday? What day was it? And what time? And then what changed? And get down to it. Investigate that shit like it's a crime. Like a crime scene. It might be something silly. We all have our triggers. Oh, it was that guy at the grocery store. Right. And I somehow just let myself go with that. Instead of squashing that annoyance because he cut me off in the parking lot, I sat there and stewed on it for the rest of the day. Now it's all coming to me. And then when I had to deal with something else, the snowball effect started happening. So more and more things started adding to my anger because I was already in a weak state of mind, dwelling on anger. When you dwell on anger, it's like a magnet, and more things start flying towards it. More negativity, more anger. It builds. Anger builds anger. It's important to identify this, to track it. And you can say, okay, so that's where it was. And then go back to the original thing and realize, well, that parking lot thing, people are assholes. Maybe he was in a rush, whatever. It's not worth stressing about. It could have been worse. It wasn't a big deal. And you understand it and get over it, even if it's a day or two later. Whatever it was that started it. Started your anger. You go back to the beginning and where it all started. I had that phrase come in my head one day. I woke up, I've suffered from anger issues for so long. I woke up out of a dream that was particularly violent. I have violent dreams. And that can put me into a real pissed off state of mind. I dream about death all night, and then I wake up just in this pissed off mood. You ever have a thought that just kind of came into your head where it didn't even feel like your own. This was one of those times. And it said, it said, you have to go back to the beginning if you want to stop it. And I sat and thought about that shit for like a week. Didn't even know what it meant. But this is what it means. Oftentimes when we get angry and we're in this pattern of anger, we're stuck on an issue. We're stuck somewhere. And we have to backtrack on that path and to go and find where we're stuck and help our way out of it. Help yourself to get over that obstacle or get around it. When I get into these modes of being angry for a few days, my management, PTSD management, usually has to do with me not isolating myself, because I still get out there and do my thing and run my businesses, but I become less social. And that's a good thing for me. I need me time so I can hash out what's going on with me. And once I've smoothed it out, I'm usually pretty good. I've gotten over it. I'm good now. I'm back to normal. And what happens literally is going back to get yourself around that obstacle. That's how you take that electrical pathway that's just firing along that circuit in your brain is a organic computer, and you're like a cyborg. And when you can go back and get yourself around that obstacle, that's when you have changed that circuit back to where it's supposed to be. So it's not just firing along the anger circuit, that anger pathway. You've now gotten yourself out of the weeds, so to speak, and you're going to get past this little spot of anger that you're going through. And oftentimes it can just continue, and you're going to have to wait. Could be a week, it could be a month. I've had anger problems that have lasted a year at a time. I'm just angry for a year. And that's torturous. So allow yourself to separate off if you have to. Go to the beach, go hang out in the woods. Nature's a great place. Connect with nature. Put you back into like an animalistic mind. Remind you of how powerful you are. We can feel weak in society. You're powerful. You're a wolf. And go back into your brain and find that point when things changed for you and where you became angry, and smooth out like wrinkles in the sheets. Smooth it out. And allow your brain to fire on a more healthy circuit. It's all food for thought. Hope somebody's getting this. Thanks for watching.